Hi all, in this video we'll show you how to build and use a trebuchet in Conan Exiles. With the Age of War and Stygian invasion looming on the horizon, it's a perfect time to brush up on your trebuchet skills. If you're like us, you'd likely not touch this contraption for many ages. And a fun fact, the origin of the trebuchet can be traced back to 300 BC China. In Conan Exiles, these siege machines can be unlocked through the engineer knowledge from level 25. Once unlocked, the initial two core parts of the machine can be built using a carpenter's bench. We can't talk about PvP much, but at least for PvE we have never ever built any of these, beyond a few as decoration for our bases. However, that might all change with the next chapters of Age of War. Perch attackers might set up camp outside your base, and we will face the mighty Stygians in PvE sieges. The first recorded use of a counterweight trebuchet, as seen in Conan Exiles, was in the 12th century Europe, and you guessed it, the French were early adopters. With new trebuchet ammunition being introduced through the current battle pass, a new Stygian trebuchet set being sold in the bazaar, and imagery like this, it could be that the trusty old trebuchet is due to become more relevant in-game. So what's needed to build one? Here are the total materials currently required. To start off, you need a siege foundation. That is a large round platform you can place directly on the ground as well as on foundations and ceilings. Keep in mind that this platform can't be moved once placed, though it can be picked up or dismantled. It might be smart to raise it slightly up from the ground. The reason is that the next piece, the trebuchet frame, might otherwise not snap to the foundation. At least this was a challenge in the past when placed on more uneven terrain. Siege foundations used to come with a staircase, as you can see on the icon for it. But from what we have gathered, that was purposely removed years ago. We prefer the version with stairs, but presumably Funcom had their reasons. Once the trebuchet base has been snapped to the foundation, there are another two stages left to build, and both must be done from the trebuchet base itself. Interact with the base to see the option to build a trebuchet frame. Then, once that's completed, your final step is to add a trebuchet arm. While you can still pick up the trebuchet foundation at this stage, doing so will dismantle the finished trebuchet. Neither the trebuchet arm frame nor base piece will be returned. A new fun fact: the first large versions of these siege engines used to be able to barely launch a projectile every 30 minutes, due to the time it took to reload them. Luckily, in Conan Exiles, the counterweight and reload feature is a much faster process, though it can be confusing initially. Let's quickly guide you through how to aim, fire and reload. Ammunition for the trebuchet is also crafted within the trebuchet itself. To practice, we recommend using the cheaper siege boulders. So let's aim the beast. The direction can be easily adjusted by pushing on either of the two handles on the rotating outer base with your character. Walking against them from the one or the other direction rotates the base and thereby also aims the trebuchet itself. Next up, we got a lever here on the right side. This adjusts the angle of the projectile being launched. Use it to cycle through from -25 degrees to 80 degrees. It's now time for the last few steps. First, choose what to launch by placing it in this top slot of the trebuchet interface. Then choose how much weight to add as counterweight. Together with the launch angle, this will affect how far your projectile goes. The maximum load ratio is 100%, and you can fill it up with siege ammo, wood, stone and other weighty items as seen here. You're now ready to launch your boulder. On the back of the trebuchet you will find another lever. This one is used to launch your projectile, and there it goes. Once launched, your custom settings are remembered, so that's good. Also, any already selected projectile, pending you had more of them in your trebuchet, will remain selected as the current ammunition. Another important fact is that even with the same counterweight and angle, your projectile won't hit the same spot twice. Well, it might, though there are random elements to the power of the machine. Boulders also don't do AoE damage, but there is more expensive ammunition, like the Demon Fire Barrage, that will compensate for some of that randomness. To reload the machine, head to the front here and interact with it to wind it back up. And that's all, you're now ready to launch again. And of course, if the projectile did not land where you expected it to, play around with the launch angle as well as the counterweight to make adjustments. We can't wait to see how the revamped purchase will work and if the siege machines finally will serve a greater purpose with the next chapters of Age of War. And that was it for this quick guide. We would love to hear from you in the comments, and as always, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe and hit that bell.